All right, so next event in the blocks is the B final. Will be the B final of the women's junior 8. So there are 7 boats competing in this event. We've got an 8th crew who've decided to line up and they will stay there. But in lane 1, we have Culver Academies, lane 2, Shaker Heights, lane 3, Huron, lane 4, Pioneer, lane 5, Parkersburg, lane 6, Parkersburg South, and in lane 7, Cranbrook Kingswood. So again, a race of 7 in this B final. But we've got 8 in the blocks. One just excited to get going.
Yep. So this is a junior event. So what it basically means is that all the rowers in these boats are not seniors. So sometimes we have junior events, sometimes we have second varsity events. Each one contributes, obviously the crews are competing within their events, but each event contributes points to the total overall points for the team. And certain events are worth more than others. Generally, the bigger boats, the more senior the rowers, the higher the points that are at stake.
Looks like we've got some closer alignment here in the B final of the women's junior 8. And we do have a clean start here. Lane 1, Culver Academies. Lane 2, Shaker Heights. Lane 3, Huron. Lane 4, Pioneer. Parkersburg, lane 5, Parkersburg South. Lane 6, Cranbrook Academy in lane 7.
And it looks like Pioneer got the jump off from the start there in the white boat in the middle there. But Huron right behind them in the yellow boat. These are both crews from Ann Arbor, so there's definitely some rivalry going on. Culver Academies in lane 1 there is not falling back, and we've got some good racing set up here in this women's junior 8 B final.
And like we said, there were 8 boats at the start, 7 took off, and that was intentional. So there are 7 crews in this B final. Pioneer out in front, closely followed by Huron. Culver Academies unofficially in that 3rd place. 4th, a bit of a toss-up between Shaker Heights and Parkersburg. And Cranbrook Kingswood closing in there, trying to throw their hat into this race, and Parkersburg South there sandwiched between Parkersburg and Cranbrook.
And it looks like Huron has put on a good push here in this first 500. As we start coming up to that 500-meter mark, I think Huron has pulled ahead of Pioneer.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen in these 8 races here.
Let's go, Jones!
It's not necessary to be the winner off the start, just to be the winner at the finish.
And it does look like Huron's got that momentum. So they started behind, and perhaps it's just getting the boat up to speed, but then how effective can you be stroke to stroke? So every stroke, they're just getting an inch here, an inch there, and that's just adding up to seats of Huron over Pioneer. Next, we've got over in lane 1, Culver Academies and Shaker Heights. That's your 1st through 4th unofficially. Then Cranbrook Kingswood, Parkersburg, and Parkersburg South.
Let's go, ladies!
And it looks like it's tough to tell from this angle here, but I think that Pioneer only has about 3 seats over Culver Academies in lane 1. So that's still very tight racing here. Looking at only a few meters separating these 2 crews. Huron looks like it has broken free from the pack and is looking to expand on that lead as we move into this second quarter of the race, coming up to the halfway point.
Again, that dynamic between the coxswain telling you what you have yet to do, but then the rower is getting the visual cue of pushing the field away. Huron is probably incredibly motivated to be that first crew to that halfway point, but Pioneer, their coxswain telling their crew, look, we've only got a couple seats of open between us and them. Let's see what we can do. Culver Academies, they're looking afar. Now they have overlap with Pioneer. And then Shaker Heights overlap with Culver. So threaded together there, places second through fourth.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at maybe 1 or 2 meters of difference between Pioneer and Culver here. You can see the coxswains looking at each other. So that Pioneer coxswain looking off to the left saying, hey guys, they're close. We need to push, and we need to push now here in this women's Junior 8B final. But it's a real nice race developing between Culver and Pioneer. Shaker Heights they're refusing to be let out of that pack there. They are still maintaining some contact here, but they're really going to need to put a push on right now in this third quarter of the race. Huron's crossing the 500-meter to go mark here in that yellow shell, and they have a nice stride with each stroke, really letting the boat run out. And it looks like they've lifted their rate as well.
You can see a really nice clean finish out of all 8 blades there. They're all timed in and out of the water together, just kind of like a metronome, all in sync with each other. So every stroke, those inches are adding up to seats, adding up to feet, now adding up to boat lengths. So to have that lead, Pioneer staying ahead of Culver Academies, but that fight between Shaker Heights and Culver is what's pushing that field for second place.
Yeah. You pan around, you can see we've gone through a lot of this grueling 1,500-meter distance here. We're moving into maybe 300 meters to go here. Those buoys will change colors at 250 to red.
Great shot here of this Huron crew as the first to cross into that 250 mark. So, yep, we see that first red buoy. Last 250 meters of this race.
And so this Huron crew is getting nice catches. Catch of the stroke is where the blade enters the water and you catch on and can start leveraging the boat past where you're planting that blade in the water. The finish of the stroke is where the blade comes out of the water, and then the recovery is where you come up to take your next stroke. It looks like Pioneer is really pushing on, trying to hold that lead from Culver. That's giving a strong push in this sprint here. But Shaker Heights is not ceding any territory here. They've lifted as well, and they're starting to eat into that distance there on Culver.
All three are very, very hungry for their bow balls to be out in front, but it will be Huron who is going to cross that line first. But this race between second, third, and fourth is what is the hot topic here right now here at the Midwest Scholastic Rowing Championships. As we come level with that finish line, we'll get a good perspective of where each is. Earlier in the race, Pioneer had a very strong lead over the next two that are following behind them, but Culver Academies has chipped away of that distance over time, but it looks like Pioneer is staying ahead.
And I think Culver's going to be able to hold on to this lead, but it's challenging. It's a big push there from Shaker. Just a couple seats.
But great race across all crews in this race. We've got here, rounding out the field, Cranbrook, Kingswood, Parkersburg South, and Parkersburg in that order for all of the eights in this Women's Junior 8B final here.
Cranbrook, Kingswood crossing the line, and then Parkersburg South, and then Parkersburg. We now move on to the A final. And the A final is going to be the top 8 crews in this event.